everyone, hope you are doing well. It's international break, so we ask you for your ideas on content, and a couple of people emailed us with this topic. But also, we've just done Mug of Tea over on Patreon, which we do every single month, myself and Gonzo, where the patrons give us the topics and some subjects, and we just discuss them. And we had a couple of patrons coming up with this topics as well. So Alan said, everyone is trying to figure out how to get the best of Paqueta and Kudus. I'm reluctant to move Bowen from his best position. But do you think it's time to play him as a striker or even see how he would perform over on that left-hand side? And then we've got one from Brian who says, what's your thoughts on benching Paqueta? While I think it's admirable to support him during the betting scandal, and we have to think about the team, not just Paqueta. My thoughts are to have Bowen on the right, Kudus in the middle, and have Summerville on the left, even if it's just for a few games, so we're better prepared if and when Paqueta gets a ban. He goes on to say, Paqueta hasn't been great so far this season, and Summerville needs his chance, and we should build the attack around Kudus and Bowen and not have Kudus isolated out on the left-hand side. We go on, there's some other questions coming in from other people, like Andrew says, is Solid the player to replace Paqueta if either sold or banned? And with Paqueta underperforming, would you drop him and move Kudus into the centre to try? We had one really nice comment from someone who I will get in a second, but while I'm looking for that comment, Gonzo, what's your initial take and reaction to everything?
Listen, just quickly on the supporting Paqueta thing, I think we do support Paqueta. I don't want the support to extend to him being guaranteed a place in the team.
I'm just going to butt in because I found it. It says, okay. Steve50 says, do you feel the investigation is affecting Paqueta as it seems to him it is? If so, should the club give him support and space to deal with it, as his well-being is more important than the football? Then he goes on to ask you, you're practicing your golf swing, but we'll just ignore that one for the Patreon. But sticking with the Paqueta things, there's quite a few topics under this one headline.
Yeah, we'll deal with golf another day, Steve. Thank you very much, mate. I think Paqueta's been an incredibly resilient individual, actually. I do wonder if it's like a cumulative accumulation of stress over time might be causing this, but I am mindful about reading too much into that. Actually, I think he's shown his resilience. Resilience. He was all right in the Copa America, wasn't he? Let's be fair, right? So I think he's still got it there, hasn't he? He's still got the ability to turn it on. I'm not sure it's precisely that. In terms of supporting him, I just don't want that to extend to him being guaranteed a first-team place. I think we are supporting him. I think the club support him. Public declarations, he's still getting his money and he's still getting his wages. Tim Stein went out to see him. All that lovely, holistic stuff. All that stuff happened, right? Brilliant. In terms of him in the team, I do. Here's what I would think. I think if you were to move him from the team immediately and take him out and then do whatever the suggestion was, which I think was Summerville, was basically playing Summerville on the left and taking him out of the team, put in Kudus in the middle and keeping Jarrod Bowen on the right. I think you still have a passing problem in the team. So if you do that, then what I would like to see is, I haven't seen anything of Soler yet, but my option would be then to put Soler in central midfield next to one other, be it Edson Alvarez or Rodriguez. So I think then you sort out your technical ability, because someone's going to have to thread these passes through. And I'm not sure Kudus is that guy. Although I do want to see him taken off that left, but those for reasons of him being in a central place to dribble and being able to unleash his shot at a more dangerous position than him being on the left. You saw it when Summerville came on. You get a right footer there. Summerville came on against Man City. He came in, got on his right foot, and and made a really, really good shot with a right foot, which curled in, towards the far post. So I'd be very, very pleased to get Kudus off of that side. But yes, I think if you take Paqueta out of there, the ideal one is putting Paqueta on the left. If you're going to take him out of the team altogether, you're going to have to sort out the supply line somewhere else. I think that's quite important. In terms of Bowen, sorry, Jarrod, was quite a lot to unpack on that one. In terms of Bowen being up front, I do suspect it's going to happen this season. I'm not suggest it's going to happen all the time, but it won't surprise me if it did. But I think it's certainly going to be experimented with. I think that is the natural turn of events. But they've got a long time on the training ground at the moment. Granted, some players are off on international duty. Lopetegui is going to need to find a way to make the position of centre forward or striker, whatever you want to call it, lone striker, needs to find a way to make that work in the current system. But it's still really early stages.
So we were to have a game tomorrow, Fulham, Brentford, Crystal Palace. You get the type of team I'm going for. Not one of those Champions League ones like Man City, but also not an Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton. But one of those teams that you expect to be in and around mid-table. What would forget your defence, your midfield and your attack, what would that look like in terms of personnel?
If we were doing that, if we were playing Fulham tomorrow, I'd play Bowen up front. That's what I'd do. I'd play Kudus on the right. I would play Paqueta in the middle, and I'd probably play give Summerville a go on the left.
I think I don't think Paqueta's been that bad. I don't think he's been great. Don't get me wrong. He's not been good, and I was okay with what I've seen from him against City. I think, there's times last season he wasn't great. He hasn't started the season very well, Paqueta. But I still think he produced some of the best passes of the match. The problem was he produced some of the worst passes of the match as well. And it's that risk versus reward. And I'm very aware that when it's boring, I'll sit here and moan that the football's boring. And now there's a discussion about potentially removing who I'd consider to be the player that's most likely to produce some entertainment for us, and I'm not too comfortable with that conversation at the minute. I don't want to see it happen. I think my biggest desire at the minute is to see Kudus come off the left-hand side, and that's far greater than my desire to see Paqueta dropped or to see a certain striker played up front or see Bowen moved or whatever. The one change I would like to see the most out of the starting 11 that we just seen against Manchester City is that we can get Kudus off that left-hand side. And then it's a domino effect. It's, well, what has to happen in order for that to occur? What happens to everybody else? You're going to put him central, fine, but now what are you doing, Paqueta? So for me, I would just like to see those two switch. I'd like to see Paqueta out on the left because I think that's where he produced his best football so far in a West Ham shirt. This year, 2024, he's produced 2 assists. It's not a significant number or anything. And I think under David Moyes, I think Paqueta's best games arguably came when he was on that left-hand side. I think also, at the minute, I think we've got a very underperforming Emerson out in that left-back position. Now, transfer window's shut now, while we're making a little bit of movement with our centre-back, and I know Alex Telles is a free transfer, so there is a good left-back there. I don't think we're going to go get him. I think this is our squad now. So Emerson's the left back, and he's the player, as I mentioned to you in the player ratings the other day, that has little competition. I actually think Emerson's biggest competition is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think if we were to change the left back, Wan-Bissaka would come over and Soufal go in rather than Creswell coming straight. I might be wrong, but I think that's maybe what Lopetegui would do. So we need to get Emerson performing. We absolutely have to. Mavropanos isn't performing, not the end of the world. Todibo comes in. Paqueta not performing, not the end of the world. Summerville or Solar can come in. There's options everywhere. But at left back, I feel that's one area of the team we perhaps just don't have an option. It has to be Emerson. Otherwise, we're going to have to start moving players that's in the starting 11 already in order to accommodate him. And I just think Paqueta gets the best out of Emerson. I think Emerson gets the best out of Paqueta. And that's how I'd like to see that occur. But more so that I can see Kudus central because I think he was excellent against Manchester City, but he was excellent because he was picking up central positions and it wasn't because he was playing out on that left-hand side. I think he's very restricted and I just don't like it. I don't like seeing him out there. In regards to Bowen as striker, we both feel that's something we're going to see, as in what we predict Lopetegui will do. Is it something you want to see?
At the moment, yes, it would be my preferred option. I'd need... Antonio's not looked great, and I've yet to see Fullkrug do anything in a West Ham shirt that makes me think this guy needs to be in the team. Now I'm open to being proven wrong on that. Absolutely, I am. But yeah, if I was picking, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Who would I bet now? If we change the question, give me a fiver to make a bet and to put on one player playing up front who I think would guarantee would score a goal, it would be Bowen.
I can't. It's hard to disagree with that. To be fair, I've got nothing to prove it. I've got no goal from Antonio. No goal from actually Antonio and Fullkrug. Well, Antonio hit the post, didn't he? Aston Villa, was it? His header hit the post, so he has come close, but that was from a set piece rather than playing as a striker. So there's little evidence. Say, well, I think you're wrong on this one. I think there's promising signs from Fullkrug against Crystal Palace. I think when he came on, I think he looked quite sharp. I think he looked all right in that game. But again, that's performances either side of that game haven't been great from him so far. I'm still reluctant to see Bowen move. I'm really reluctant because I think you get the best out of him out on that right-hand side. And he did all right as a striker under David Moyes. It wasn't a disaster, but I also don't think it was an overwhelming success. I think he was a good option to have as a striker if needs be. But we're waiting to play our fourth league game of the season. I just think it's too early. I'm not saying you're getting the little metal hammer and hitting the fire alarm and it's like, right now, this is panic time. But I just don't think we need to try that just yet. I would stick with Fullkrug and trying to get a tune out of him and leave Bowen in what I consider to be his best position, which is out on that right-hand side. Now, the problem might be that could be Kudus' best position as well.
Yeah, I think
this is a conundrum that Lopetegui has. But do you know what? I think it's fantastic. I think this is a wonderful problem to have. It's almost like we've got too many good players and they can't all play. So who's missing out? Who is sacrificing? And then when we have decided which players we're going to play, they can't all play in their best position. No. So who's then being sacrificed within the 11 as well? I think it's a wonderful issue to have. Now we're going to flick back to Patreon because I've got another question in relation to this sort of topic because Ben thinks he's got a bit of a solution that he would like to see. Now, before I read it out, I just want to point in the direction of Patreon, patreon.com/Hammers Chat. It's where we produce more videos and there's plenty more podcasts over there. Some of them don't even include myself and Gonzo.
The best ones don't.
Some would say the best ones don't. They're over there as well. But it's the best way to support Hammers Chat. If you've ever thought, I wouldn't mind supporting these boys. I like tuning into their videos on YouTube. The best way is by going to Patreon and supporting us over there. You can do it from £3.60 per month, which is now the same price as a Tesco meal deal. And that's if you've got a club card. That's the discounted Tesco meal deal. You can support us for the price of one meal deal over there. You get more videos in return for your pledge, as well as entry into giveaways, as well as prediction competition. We've got a prediction competition for every single game this season. The prizes vary depending on the fixture, but the top prizes are signed shirts. We've got signed Kudus shirt, which we will be hopefully giving away in a prediction competition this season. And we've got signed Tony Gale books, Julian Dick's books, Julian Dick's prints to give away as well. And the best thing is, even if you get it wrong, you've still got a chance because we've created this new thing this season where I have a little guess. If I get it right, somebody's guaranteed to win a prize. So on Saturday, I said 3-1 Manchester City, Haaland first goal. I was correct. Many other people were. But even if you put 4-0 West Ham, you still might win that prize because everybody's entered into winning the signed Tony Gale book because I got my prediction right as well. So anyway, patreon.com/Hammers Chat. Massive thanks to everybody who heads over there and supports us. But Ben says, I think I found a solution to the Bowen Kudus Paqueta situation, how to get the best out of them all. In possession, it would be a 3-2-4-1 of, now you're going to have to picture this. Everybody close your eyes now. Just close your eyes. So obviously Ariola's in goal. Back three of Wan-Bissaka, Todibo and Kilman. And then in front of the back three, he's got Rodriguez and Alvarez. Then across the midfield, or the attacking midfield, if you like, from left to right, it's Emerson, Paqueta, Kudus and Bowen, and up front, Fullkrug. Ben says, would like to know your thoughts on this and to keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you very much, Ben. I was just picturing it in my mind's eye, funny enough, just there. I actually, fun enough, I used to think this about Wan-Bissaka, that he would be very good as the right-sided centre back in a back three. Actually, I've not changed my mind. I just don't want to see it anymore. I'm loving the full-back version of him. I'm not adverse to playing three at the back at all, and it may well be where we may well get our best out of a lot of players. Ironically, if I was going to play 3 at the back, though, I'd probably do it so as I could almost play a 3-5-2 in order to, fun enough, get the best out of one of our strikers and play 2 up front. And what I think you might inadvertently do by doing that is actually, if you could get Bowen up front alongside Fullkrug, you might well see a little bit of a partnership start to develop there.
It's a no for me, Ben. Apologies, but for the reasons I've just given regarding not playing Bowen as a striker. Now, I appreciate your argument would be he's a right midfielder, not a right wing back, but he would turn out to be a right wing back. You're going to need cover on your width when you're defending. You've got Emerson on one side. That's fine. That's what I class maybe as his best position, Emerson. But with Bowen, I think you're putting our biggest goal threat in a very restricted position in terms of going forward. So it's a no for me. Maybe there's ways of going around it. A back 3 might become the solution. I think we'll see it sometimes this season. But sorry, Ben, I disagree. However, people at home, get involved. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below on Ben's team and what myself and Gonzo have discussed and what you would like to see. So to sum it up, Gonzo, not got too much of an issue with Paqueta at the minute, and you'd like to see more of Kudus.
It's the Kudus one. That's the priority. Get Kudus somewhere else. I think it's a minor tweak, sorts this stuff out. I don't even need to make a big drama about it. But I would also agree with you. I don't think that there is a massive, big problem with Paqueta. And it's like, to answer Steve's question at the start, I think if it was going to weigh down heavily on his shoulders, that would have happened a long time before now. And I think he's very, very resilient. The resilient Brazilian, as I said. So yeah, I've not got too many worries.
I think it has weighed on him. There was an article that came out of the Athletic at the end of the season about how the players were concerned, and Emerson in particular was trying to get him to come out, and they arranged a night out to get Paqueta to come out, and then he wouldn't go really. So I think it has played its part, and I can understand why, especially if he was innocent. I can understand why it would impact him even more. But it's up to the club to make these decisions. We don't know. As fans, we don't know. And do you know something? I don't think we should know either. This is the type of thing I'd like to be kept behind closed doors. However, for those watching the Burnley documentary on Sky, which is very good, Series 2 is out. It's very, very recommended. They had a player who we know last season missed a lot of the season because of his mental health, and Lyle Foster. And he features heavily. Now, I've only seen episode 1 of Series 2 at the minute. But he's in there speaking about how he had mental health problems. He went to Vincent Kompany and the club helped him. And Foster's own words were, the gaffer saved me. He's like, if he didn't deal with me the way he did, I don't know what the context was, but Foster's words were, if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here. Now, I don't know if he's referring to Burnley or if he's referring to something even more severe, but he had a lot of time off and Kompany said it was because of mental health. He's away because of mental health, and we're basically giving him all the time that he needs until he's ready to come back. He won't come back. It's as simple as that. And that was a football club really taking care of the player, and you can see in the documentary how much it means to him. I'd like to think West Ham are doing those steps as well in order to give Paqueta whatever he needs to make sure that he's as best as he can be, which is difficult. There's a cap on it. He's never going to be 100% happy while all this is going on, but can he be as happy as possible? And I'd like to think the club are doing everything. Shall we leave it there, my friend?
Yes, fine.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Get involved in the comments. Support us on Patreon if you fancy what we do. If you like what we do on YouTube, Patreon is a way to support us. Patreon.com/Hammers Chat. Links in the description and the pinned comments of this video. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. It's great. Hammers Chat, myself and Gonzo. Catch you in a bit.